Hi everyone, this is Zach the Zeke here, and I am going to give my review of Central Florida Comic Con 2026. As a quick disclaimer, I was part of the con squad for Central Florida Comic Con. I was a handler for John Morton, and that was my job this weekend, but I did get to experience the rest of the convention every now and then in between things. And I don't really have a script for this. I just wanted to get this out there because otherwise it would have set in my backlog forever. I'm not going to go in any particular order. So this convention was a 2-day convention with a setup day on Friday. It was from like 11 o'clock until 5 o'clock, but honestly, the convention was set up in like 3 hours. It really did not take very long because the convention is not that large. Everything decorative wise was kind of already set up. We didn't really have to do very much. It was really just signs and making sure that everything was in its correct location, putting down the lines on the floor, all the tape that was necessary, and then just making sure all the tables were numbered. But besides that, the convention didn't take that much to really kind of set up on Friday, and I was home relatively early. I had some other things that I was doing Friday afternoon, hung out with some of my friends, and I got home later that night. On Saturday morning, I got there really early and just waited for them to get me my assignment on which I already knew it was John Morton who I was going to be with, just waiting for staff people to come around, make sure everything was good, and make sure everything was set up. Walked over to John's table, made sure my stuff, which really kind of consisted of a laptop and tick sheets and some pens and stuff, and then met John at the entrance, introduced myself, escorted him over to the table, and he explained his pricing scheme and kind of everything that it was. It was probably the most simplistic of any kind of guest that where it's just like they just had autographs and they had selfie pricing, but nothing really complicated. He was just there to hang out with people and get some autographs for people and make sure that everybody kind of had a good time that wanted to meet him. And it was a fun time. He was a really friendly gentleman that he's been in the film industry for a really long period of time. He's also a published author, and he's done stunts for Star Wars. I mean, it was cast as Jack in Star Wars Episode 5, and he's done some audio technician and video technician stuff, which is stuff that I used to do for a while, and so that's where I kind of learned my video technician stuff from that, as well as my audio technician stuff from that. So we kind of had stories to share about different audio and video work that we've done over the years, and he had plenty of stories to tell to everybody that kind of came up and talked with him, as well as getting people's information on exactly like what it is that they like about Star Wars and everything like that, which was fantastic. He really kind of liked having this kind of back and forth with a lot of people, and it meant that we had a lot of great people coming up that were like really good fans of the Star Wars series, of John's, and had some really good time going back and forth. He would give a story to those people. The schedule on Saturday was that he had a panel at 12 o'clock, so at 12:55 we packed up and got him over to his panel. And while he was at his panel, I decided that I was going to go over 501st and watch the parade. I caught the tail end of the parade, which is this video that you actually see right here, and I was able to take some pictures of their photo shoot that they had Saturday. And then after that, it was time for lunch. I grabbed some lunch, and then I went over and picked up John from his panel, and we went over 501st, got a picture of all the 501st guys with John. They really appreciated that. Then I escorted them over to lunch, and I finished up my lunch, took a break, relaxed at the table, and then it was just the rest of the day. We'd have people that would show up and just talk with them. He'd give out autographs. He'd take pictures with people. One of the special things that was on Friday is there was a group of kids that came around that their godfather was a really big fan of Star Wars, specifically Boba Fett. He actually is on a SWAT force that he has a Boba Fett helmet that he's custom made that he uses in SWAT. And he wasn't able to go because he's going through some medical issues. And John recorded a video for the kids to give to their godfather, that uplifting stuff. It was just a very sweet moment and very, very great moment, that I would say, for all of that. And I mean, it was really very touching, and I got to record all of that with the two kids and John in the middle. We finished a little early because things were kind of dying down a little early. Got him over to the truck to go over to his hotel room, and I went home right after and fell asleep because, I mean, it was a fun-filled day where I was spending a lot of energy. Very, very tired. It was basically the best way I could kind of put it. I woke up in the morning, got over there early again, picked up John from the entrance, escorted him over to his table. We got everything set up. He didn't have a panel that day, but we talked with a few people that wanted his autograph, and people wanted to talk with him. And it was just kind of a chill Sunday. And he had a flight that was pretty midway through the day that he had to catch. So we left at 3:15, and the transport team took him to the airport, and then I got out of there so I could go to lunch, because I decided I did not want pizza 2 days in a row. It would probably have destroyed my stomach. So I was like, hey guys, do you need me? They're like, nah. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get lunch. If you guys do you guys need me for the rest of the day? And they're like, nah, it's good. You can head on home. So I left. I wanted to get some sushi, something that was just not going to really hurt my stomach. I got some really good sushi in Kissimmee, and then headed home and started working on editing and stuff like that. Overall, I really like Central Florida Comic-Con, where it's kind of a mid-range, not a very large convention, not a very small one at the same time, where it's just like there's a pretty decent amount of people. The population of that was going through of attendees was actually a lot. There was actually a lot of people looking at all of the people at the artist alley, and when I took pictures of the vendor room, it was pretty populated as well. And I would say that overall, I think it was a pretty successful weekend, probably for a lot of vendors, a lot of artists. And also, I think that the guests had a really good experience. I know John was really appreciating all the people that kind of came around there. And one thing that was funny is when I escorted him over to where he was going to be picked up. I was hanging out with him before he had to be taken over to the airport, and he was like, oh man, I needed to get an autograph for you. And I was like, nah, it's okay. And so we just took a selfie. That's what we have right here. And yeah, he was like, well, the next time I see you, I owe you an autograph. And I'm like, that sounds like a threat, John. So yeah, I mean, it was a really, really fun day. And I think that it was a really fun time that I would do it again. I would definitely enjoy doing Central Florida Comic-Con again. I have to give thanks to Jesse for bringing me on the team and letting me do that stuff. Thanks to Ginny for putting up with my overly helpful antics. Thanks to Ben for letting me join his merry band of misfits on this entire adventure that was going on. I'm sure I interacted with a lot of people that were over the weekend, and I probably forgot everything on names and stuff like that, but it was a fun time. I'll probably do it again because, again, like I said, I like hanging out with the Nerd Street peoples. They do a lot of great stuff, and I'm looking forward to that. So the future of this channel, was going on, I do have a well-researched kind of rant thing on artificial intelligence and LLMs that I'm going to be posting here soon. I have to clear out my queue because I'm going to be going to KatsuCon and I'm going to be taking a long road trip. I've already started the script for the planning for KatsuCon and how everything works like that. I have a few things that I need to work out before I actually go to KatsuCon, and hopefully I can like clear out what I have before I need to head up. And you can look forward to those kinds of things as long as I don't get distracted or things get really complicated with work or anything else that's going on right now. But if you enjoyed what I posted or whatever, things like that, then you can go ahead and like and share or subscribe or comment. If you don't like it, you can comment or thumbs down it. I don't know. The engagement gods like whenever any engagement happens, because I'm just doing this, and that's cool because I just am posting this just to force myself to do something and do something different. I will see how things go, but I'm just trying something new just to kind of get me out of my shell and get me back to kind of doing stuff again. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you the next one. That's been Zach the Zeke. See you later.